Wait for it to connect. Sure, there's a better way to link my streams together than this, but I don't know how to do it. I'm sure there's a way you can have multiple individual stream HUDs and layouts set linked together to your YouTube so that you don't have to keep editing them whenever you swap between them. But I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's advanced. Too advanced for me. Alright, I'm gonna keep that on stream health. Alrighty. With that, we are back with King's Chronicle. Thank you all for tuning in. Last time, the party left the city of the High Elves. They made out like bandits. Some of them quite literally. They made their way through the woods after determining what to do. They hired a Wood Elf mercenary company to escort their cart to the Wood Elf capital for them, so that they could travel at the same time through the Savage Lands living forest and make their way through it into the temple area where Gildos has been cast by his goddess Brigid to retrieve a magic item. Once they arrived, they found that, well, the journey there was mostly uneventful, only with encountering some weird tendrils that seemed to consume a creature, a lizard folk, along the way. Taking heed from Bub's warning of, nature can be dangerous, that's our cue to leave. The party made on their way and continued heading for the traveling path towards the temple. Once they arrived, they found that there was a path to the north, south, and one to the east. And once they west. Once they made their way to it, just ignore that I get my east and west mixed up 95% of the time. Once they made their way to it, they decided, after some rumination and Gildos getting in touch with Brigid, to head for the left chamber, where they discovered some unsettling revelations with some sort of fungal, parasitic zombie type things that did not strike them, and they did not strike them back either. They kind of worked around each other in a very unsettling fashion. They made their way through the whole place, downing some antitoxins to stave off some encroaching sickness that seemed to be coming over them, and made their way to a secret room that had clean, fresh air. The whole chamber was dark, musty, and filled with spores. This room was not, where Gildos found a corpse of a paladin of Brigid, and read over his account of him being here for several months, on the same quest Gildos was, but seemingly quite a long time before Gildos got here, and that he perished along the way, and he encountered some weird creatures, similar to ones Gildos has met, but the way he described them was much more hostile than the ones that Gildos has encountered so far. Gildos also learned that turn undead did not work on these creatures, and neither did destroy undead, for some odd reason. And Gildos proceeded to obtain the body of this former paladin, and the party came together and performed a group burial for him, burying him on the land here and giving him a proper laying to rest. Gildos then rallied the party to have them assist him in his endeavor. He will finish this task, no matter what. And this is where we leave off. This is where we pick things back up. So without further ado, welcome back. Currently, the party is standing in the central chamber. They have a northern stone circle, which leads to the Temple of the Sun, and a southern stone tower, which seems to lead to a Temple of the Moon.
Wasn't the sun to the south and the moon to the north, though?
I believe
I
it
think
was.
Bahamut was to the south, which was the sun, and Tiamat was to the north. See, I had written it in my notes last week. I opened my note today, I was like, why isn't it there anymore?
I do not know why it's not there.
I thought it was going crazy.
Well then,
I noticed that too, but I didn't want to say anything.
hmm.
Get wrong.
Well then, regardless, in that case, then the Temple of the Sun is to the south, and the Temple of the Moon was to the north. Is that what you said, Gildas?
Yeah. See,
Alrighty
because
then.
like the tower was built to be close to the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Within a circle. It's more like, moon circle and all that.
Ah, yes, that is correct.
I don't, I,
I
I'm not
got
sure
that
about
wrong on that end. Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, come here, cat. You gotta leave the room. You're being a pain. You're being a handful. Come here. Leave. Leave. Very polite of you to come when called.
Right.
Do not rest yet, Gildas. Your quest is still at hand.
Is this poor man? But I return my question I asked before the sessions. Like, roughly what time is it in game?
Roughly what time would it be in game? Well, considering the whole party gathered together to help dig the grave for this person, it didn't take all day to dig one grave for them or set the ritual for it. So it's not currently
Like 30
evening.
minutes.
Yeah, it would take about maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And considering when you all arrived, the sun is still in the sky. It looks like it will set in a few, but not in immediately.
Mm.
Right. So I'm just gonna look at everyone and say, well, considering we have a sun and a moon temple, that will require in each of them to find an artifact to open the door we encountered the other temple. I imagine that to find them we'll need, well, the corresponding astral body out. And considering there's still a bit of sunlight left, I suggest we head for the Sun Temple for now.
I will concur. However, if I may suggest, I think we
What is
best make some preparations in case we run into more of those creatures. Montulio,
Yes.
forgive me. You have a firebomb mix, is that correct?
I indeed do. Though it is a recipe that I have shared very briefly with Gildas, so that he could make me some more of my exquisite firebombs.
I don't suppose you have a significant amount of ingredients to make it.
No, I do not. They are quite expensive, and I need to get the ingredients specifically, but I do not have the skill set to mix them together. I am not alchemically driven.
I see. Makes sense. Makes sense. Ah, but could you perhaps help me make a jury rig of sorts? I'm sure we have quite a bit of dwarven ale and lesser alcohol. We have plenty of rags and a few loose bottles. Would that do?
Hi, Chief, you could make some Molotovs with those. Ah, horrible waste of dwarven ale, though.
Agreed. However, fire seems to be the only thing that prevents complete exposure to the pollen they have emitted. If we are to protect ourselves, fire seems to be its only adversary. At least this is to my recollection.
Well, considering a holy smite from the paladin didn't seem to do the trick, then yes, I would assume so.
It was quite strange to see such a thing. I'd never seen the undead act unaffected to such. Just that the flesh recognized it, but could do nothing about it.
I'll be honest, darling. Considering the reaction the bodies have when seeing me, I'm not even sure if they're actually undead, or if they're just puppet animated by the plants themselves. I mean, Are the people even dead? Is my question. I don't even know. That's how bad it is.
You think it's deeper than an affliction? It might be an infection.
Is it him? Just so much I don't know. I mean, for example, like the journal. The paladin said that he broke into hives and all that, but you know as well as I do that paladins shouldn't feel sick at all.
I, I believe it's one of their founding abilities.
Right. Then you have those dead people we found by the campsite, which turned into, for lack of a better word, tree bark.
Hmm.
On the one hand, it does feel like it's a sickness, but at the same time, is it really? Is it more like a parasite of some sort? Maybe they're both.
I agree. 'Tis most vexing. Whether art thou, we pursue it. We must pursue it to its end. Especially if we're to free this temple and reclaim it in Bridget's name for your sake. And I cannot allow such a parasitic presence to bleed itself out into the later forests.
I think
Regardless.
once we find out what kind of creature the paladin saw, then we'll be able to piece everything together. But until then, well, it's really more of a race against the clock to return into. Well, you know. Still, the Molotov idea is a great one.
Speaking of which, Chief, I've successfully made about 5 Molotovs.
Excellent.
That's
Good
only
work.
gonna take half the keg of Dwarven Ale, which I refuse to use anymore because it's too good for the likes of these horrible monstrosities. Dwarven Ale's expensive. Damn right it is.
Agreed. And we have 5. We must be very careful with it. We also have other. From what I saw, there also appeared to be a basin within this mineral oil. Should we be able to find empty flagons or the like, we could perhaps jury-rig something similar. And should it really be necessary, Delon motions over and taps the longsword on his back. I could douse this and create a fiery blade. Although it would damage it, it at least would be a temporary weapon.
Even if you do damage it, as long as I'm still standing, once everything is done, then you can just give it back its luster. Though, if we do manage to get some rest somehow, then designating oil wouldn't even need to do that.
And then I suppose we do so right here, as if it was in the open area, at least with a quick escape. Seems being trapped down there would be worse, even in the safe haven your fellow believer found himself then.
Right. Well, at the very least, they don't appear hostile to us yet.
Bub, we've been speaking on this creature. What say you? Have you seen anything of its like?
That is an excellent question. I'm gonna have to roll for that.
You will. Roll nature or survival, bub. You get advantage because you are a druid and this is one of your domains.
Okay, I'm trying to scroll down, but roll 20 is being uncooperative. I'm gonna do nature then.
Remember, you have advantage.
12.
It's one more point. Scorks.
Alrighty.
Even if I assume guidance, it's only a 13.
With all the bad rolls out for you.
I told you, Bub. I told you. Last session your rolls were too good. You're gonna get bad rolls now.
It's fine.
enough.
It's good enough. It's good enough.
Alrighty. So, Bub, with a 13, you know that, well, there are similar creatures in the vicinity that have done similar things. You're not sure what would cause this level of, like, a parasitic type of hive minding. Usually things that do stuff like this kill and then just propagate. They don't usually create a hive mind. They can't usually control like this. So whatever is doing this is not something you're familiar with.
Yeah, so I'm going to explain that and say, I think it would be best if I stayed in my base form for as long as possible. There seems to be a lot of things that I could detect, but if I can't talk to you guys, then there'll be a problem.
Eleanor
So
nods
I'm
at
gonna
that.
try fighting in base form for a bit.
That makes sense. You are the resident expert on the vicinity.
This feels like the clip from Walter White, where Bub would just be like, "God damn right I am."
I don't have the sunglasses yet. Someday soon. But yeah, so otherwise, Bob's gonna be like, I agree with Gildas' plan though. About the sun and the moon.
And while we still have the sun, tis a best idea then to proceed to the closest to the sun. Perhaps it will give us a clue of some such.
Right, sun dungeon first. You do not have the mirror shield. You cannot progress.
By the way, Gildas, curious question. Are you still wearing the circlet? I don't believe or recall you taking it off.
I did wear it for the ball,
Indeed.
but I was still in my pole suit when I changed.
True,
the
but did
back
you take it
armor.
off for that?
I mean, I didn't say I did, so I only said like, yeah.
Alrighty then.
I mean, I guess I would still be wearing it because it's a circlet. I mean,
Yeah.
then again, would be that I slept with it. Well, actually it makes sense because like we went back pretty late. I slept with it, so it makes sense. In the morning, I'd forget that it is still on my head. All
True.
this time. So yeah, I guess let me just put it as equipped though.
Alright.
I guess there's a tuning that I'm accidentally attuning it.
We have a reflective surface. Got it.
Give me one moment, actually, because it does something. So give me un momento.
Ooh.
It's just something I meant to ask you before, but I forgot to do.
Yeah, it's fine. Just like.
I've activated my most powerful spell. Loading of the next zone.
Let's see. Gotta make sure I'm grabbing the right one. Yep, that's the one. There you go.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
Hold on, it actually also does this. Sorry, there we go.
okay. So I guess the second sentence is the description of like the thing that it gives, right? So it's not like that's pretty vague. It's like then that.
That should be a period. And so everyone else also can see what it does. I will post it in Role Players Refuge. Sorry this has taken a moment to derail, it's just very important.
I won't say no to +2 wisdom. I'll say that much.
Yeah. It's the circlet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that means like they can cast those spells. It doesn't mean that they get any bonus spells.
No, it just means they gain access to those spells. Whether if they're in the spell pool already, it doesn't do anything extra. But if they don't have that spell, essentially as of one they could learn, then they now know the spell inherently.
Nice.
But as long as they have the spell slot for it, they could cast it. That is the one
Super
thing
good
needed.
item.
Which I will put it here, down here in the cart. Give me a moment.
Oh, fifth level.
You do not know what it is called, but it is circlet of something.
Uh-huh.
Should we identify it now or later?
I want to save some spell slots.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I don't have an identifier prepared. Well, but like, it's kind of boring. Just like, oh well, hold on, let me just cast an identifier on that item.
I know. That's why I always use when they're in D&D video game. I always cheat to make sure everything's identified already because I don't like it.
I just like having high enough Arcana where it's like, you identify it automatically. It's like, yeah!
Oh shit! I have 20 passive perception now.
That's insanely good.
But alrighty. So the party is prepared now to head for
Sun dungeon.
the southern area. Good to know. Keep in mind, Tulio made 5 essentially of these fire bombs. They're based off Snax' firebomb, but you know, that's what they do. I put it in the chat.
I actually have some use of some of my torches here. Cool.
So alrighty. So I will move you to the southern path. So as you head into the southern path, party, you can feel the ground is mush beneath you, and you are walking on planty, mossy ground. It squishes and squelches beneath your feet, and you can tell that if you walk a little too carelessly or you walk too much off the beaten path, you're going to be in water. Like, up to your waist in water.
Octopus?
Bub, if you were to fall in this, you would get completely submerged, as you were short.
Interesting.
So this is all water.
Yep.
This is walkable.
Yes. Everything, essentially, walkable, walkable, walkable,
We don't see
walkable.
nothing.
Oh, you don't see? Oh, hold up.
You have the wrong layer.
Shh. Walkable, walkable, walkable.
Okay, so
Walkable.
the road is walkable.
Yes, the
Okay,
road is
got it.
walkable. Everything else is essentially water.
Okay.
Alright, people, single file.
As you step into here as well, you can see that the tree cover is so thick that it's dark. There are luminescent spores floating in the air. They glow with a faint, luminescent, almost lime green or mint green glow, just hanging in the air. Can I get a marching order?
I'm definitely not getting in the front. Let's see. I need to double check what my bat's vision is. That might actually be relevant here. Let's see. I'm debating whether I should be on DeLon's horse or not.
Bub would fit. He is a size smaller than the horse. Like, very small, essentially.
Would my horse, would Valencia allow him to ride him?
That is another question.
That's actually a factor in
Okay.
the nearest state. Is like,
Come on,
I'm
we're
gonna go.
pals, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Valisay
up
is
and go,
large.
Hey, Valencia. You heard what I said earlier. I'm gonna be untransformed so I can be helpful. Can I ride too?
I assume you're talking to the horse directly, right?
Yes.
I mean, I assume
I
the
can talk
horse
to horses.
Yeah.
So as you talk to the horse, Bub, it looks at you and kind of flooshes its tail around and just kind of like, and looks the other way.
DeLon's gonna lean down and whisper into its ear. Come now. Don't be so briefly. You're right in the back.
Horse, Velisay rolls his eyes, and essentially just, you see Bub as Velisay flicks its tail onto essentially its rump, as if like, hurry up and get on then.
Okay, I'm gonna jump on then.
Yes.
Right. Like does your eyes.
So I'm just gonna have like my bat peep out from or no, actually it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna have my bat be under my hat, and then I want to use its blind sight to help me navigate.
That's right. You have a bat familiar. You need to play. You need to have more fun with your familiar, man.
I will, but here it's like, oh, it's just gonna get eaten. Better be careful.
It's true.
It's okay, you can make it respawn tomorrow.
I specifically picked it for the blind sight, though.
It's like, you have a bat? Since when? You know?
Bub has many secrets.
I've been hiding it under my hat. And so it has a really
Is-
keen hearing and blind sight, and I'm gonna use that to
Is
help
it-
us navigate since it's really hard to navigate.
Is it voiced by Robin Williams?
Betty.
It's not high enough tier for that.
Bat in the hat.
But alrighty, so as the party is walking down the way, I will move you all a little bit. So, stopping here, Gildos, with Delon and Bub here as well, you can tell that there are trees sticking out of the bogginess, and there are also what look like dead trees in the bog as well. Dead trees.
Uh-huh.
There's also even deader looking trees across the way.
Alright. So trees that look like dead trees or trees that look like dead people? You know?
They are incredibly covered in moss and lichen, and it's hard to tell any distinct features, but they are very dead looking. Meanwhile, these
Right.
are more dead looking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they look like dead trees that don't move. Should be fine, right?
Mm,
I mean, if there's anything wrong with the trees, I mean, Bub would know.
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna listen carefully and use blind sight. My perception actually isn't that good, surprisingly, but it's a helpful backup.
It indeed is. By the way, Bub,
Mhm.
if you are attempting to listen to any trees talking in the way, many of the trees in the area are incredibly silent.
Huh.
Eerily so.
Hmm.
That would make somewhat sense too, because if it's a bog, actually very little life can actually grow in a bog. Bogs are actually so acidic that most life aside from trees can even exist in a bog.
Hmm.
Yeah, the water's just too acidic, too thick for actual fish or life to actually exist.
Okay. The trees are quiet.
Luckily, due to the spores in the air, the path is decently lit, but it's still in dim light. It's not in darkness, but it's dim light. The spores are offering some modicum of light in the area.
I have my torch out.
You do notice that the spores almost seem to bob and weave close and around the torch, like you would expect mayflies or something to do.
Oh, so it's drawing it?
They draw and they spin around it, but then they just kind of eventually fly back away after doing so. If anything, it increases the light in the area. But you all get to about... I'll move you here real quick. I'm not moving that. Hold up. Okay. Grab the wrong token for a moment. Now I can move you all single file. So, now that you're about here, you can see that there is indeed a tower here. However, it's not much of a tower anymore. You can tell that most of it has sunken into the bog. There are long vines creeping up and around it. It almost seemed like in a strangling motion around the tower. They break in some of the walls and weave in and out around it. And you can also tell that there are chunks of it just missing, and it doesn't go very high. You can actually see wooden steps that go higher poking out of it, but the rest of it doesn't seem to go as high. So essentially, these steps, you can see them from outside, but the wall has crumbled long since.
Mm-hmm.
As well, Gildas, you hear something inside the tower.
Oh. So, I look back to Bub and say, you know, When the wildlife is silent in the forest, that means there's a predator nearby, correct? So, if the trees are silent, shouldn't that mean the same kind of thing? In a druidic sort of way?
He thinks about it for a second and says, "You can usually hear the whispers of the trees. They're not very loud. It's like a light wind. But here, there's nothing. It is still."
Sure. Well,
Just like those
see,
enemies we saw elsewhere. Still.
I'm asking because we're about to get to the tower. Now, I may be wrong, but I'm already hearing some rustling and a presence in it. So, I'll say we best tread carefully and prepare for the worst. After all, looking at the state of the tower, I doubt anything we'll find there would be too friendly. So, da-da-da, da-damn. Why am I not in the initiative order anymore?
You're not? I can see you there.
Yeah, I don't see myself no more. It should be between the Tulio
Me
and...
neither.
no, it should be between Lino and
Yeah, I
thing.
see you there. I think it's because you did your
Well,
initiative on the previous map. Hold on.
yeah, probably. Whatever. But I know when I'm going. So.
Yeah, and I'll be reading it
So,
off as well, so.
Right.
What matters is y'all's initiative is pretty much there. The only one who's not here is Bub.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Did
Alright,
Bub
well,
roll
I
initiative
guess.
again recently? Because I re-rolled initiative, because this is technically a new encounter.
Yeah, okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's just hard to see on this sheet because that part of the character sheet is white compared to the black, and it's like kind of obscured.
It took me forever to figure out you were on night mode, Evan. Because I looked at Bub's notes and I was like, why is it colored like this? I can't read it.
Yeah.
And it's because I then, like, Dusk and I
Then I
figured
mentioned
it
that.
out. Yeah.
I think I was there when you were looking at it, and I'm like, oh, try night mode.
Yeah, night mode, I can read it. And non-night mode, I cannot
Oh.
read your sheet at all. Not your notes. It's awful.
Interesting.
So that's why it was like this. That's why I thought, well, he's writing something secret, but it's not very secret, you know.
No,
I thought that was the reason originally too. I thought it was like, oh well, you see, it's a secret, but not really. It's like Evan's not actually making it a secret, but he's like making it kind of a secret.
no,
It's like the Legend of Zelda from the first Legend of Zelda game, where it's like, it's a secret to everyone.
Yeah, it was kind of. I thought it was kind of like that. But alrighty. So yes, you can hear. Not only can you hear something scuttling down the way, Gildos, because you have a 20 in passive perception, you can hear what sounds like. No. Yes. Muttering and crawling. Every once in a while, something gets thrown, and it sounds like metal, just kind of like ting ting ting, with very little care for anyone else in this vicinity. It doesn't seem to care that you're here, or overly aware that you're here, perhaps.
Well, nevertheless, it seems like it's trying to look for what we're looking for. And I'm not about to let some random, whatchamacallit, in the middle of the wild, snatch it. So, be honest. I'll be readying a guiding bolt. Right? I'll then proceed to the tower.
Yeah, I think already.
Bap. Bap.
Question: how tall is the tower compared to the tree that's right next to it? This one. This tree. Hang on. Can you see me move the arrow? Maybe not.
Yeah, this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, which tree again? Say it one more time. I had to
Yeah,
do
so the one
something
right next to the tower. I'm putting the arrow out.
The tower, the tree goes a little above the tower. The tower is
Okay.
clearly in a state of horrible disarray.
Yeah, so I would like my bat to hide inside the tree, so I can kind of have it as like a second pair of eyes that I can switch to.
All right, how high in the tree is it?
I would say about halfway up.
Okay, so it could kind of see in if you wanted it to. Yes.
Yeah, it uses blind sight and hearing, so
Okay.
it doesn't have to like be directly at the top. So I'm gonna put it in the middle.
Okay. So give me one moment. Gotta look something up real quick, just because I want it, just to see 100% what it's capable of here.
It says it can perceive its surroundings without relying on sight within a specific radius. Yeah,
Let's see.
that's what it says. Under blind sight.
So it
I
can
could
perceive
post
its
that.
surroundings, but essentially in like a vague way, yeah?
I mean, I think it's kind of like sight. I don't think it's technically different, mechanically speaking, but you could like describe it as different.
I'm just gonna treat it like echolocation because it's a bat. That's kind of how I
Yeah.
usually treat blind sight, is that you can see a vague outline of something, even if it's
Yeah.
invisible, usually.
Yep. Yep.
As long as it's like creating some sort of a disturbance to sense.
Yep.
Unlike a tremor sense, which is you can feel it on the ground and around you.
Right.
Blind sight, you can more than feel it. You can see an outline if you have a
Yep.
way to perceive it. Your bat communicates to you, bub, that the tree is unbelievably prickly, and some of these prickles are more like briars or thorns. It can also communicates to you that the whatever is inside is humanoid shaped, gangly, and half dressed.
Okay.
All right, and Gildos, as you approach the tower, anyone else want to position themselves somewhere before I proceed forwards?
Delon? That's mostly important for you.
I think just protecting the back would probably be pretty smart. At least making sure that if Gills is gonna kind of be there, I should probably be around this measure. Make sure they can't crisscross in.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
That means Bub would be
With,
right next to you.
Yeah.
I'll have
Leaving,
Eleanor move a little down, and Yorm
Yeah.
will be about here as well.
Yeah. Tulio and Ophelia should be able to take care of themselves.
Yeah. But alrighty. So with that in mind, Gildas, as you approach the doorway, essentially, you could see that there is a door that is completely rotten away and rotted right off the hinges, as it is just basically mush in the doorway. You can also see that there are wet footprints leading into this room. So whatever came here recently. And as you approach closer, you notice that the walkway leading up to this and the entire tower's ground and floor is covered in vines. And as you step closer to it, you hear the murmuring and skittering stop as soon as you touch one of the vines.
Uh-huh. Well, at least they know me here. But I know they're here as well. So I'll say out loud. Friend or foe?
As you say that aloud, eventually, you see one clawed, bony hand grab around the doorframe, slowly by another, as a head tilts and contorts around the corner. Trying to do the thingy. There we go.
Uh-huh.
That's not good.
Well, that's an ugly fella, I'll tell you what.
So as it contorts and looks around the door at you, It's clearly hanging at a vertical level, like it's clinging to the wall itself. It eyes you up and down briefly before its lip comes out of its mouth, and it starts saying things in different languages. Which, give me one moment. I'm gonna pull up your sheet real quick. Tell you what the first language that you pick up that it hears.
Common Orc or Dwarf?
Common Orc or Dwarf? The first language that you pick up a word in is Orcish, then Dwarvish, and then finally, seeing that it's kind of rolls through them incredibly quickly. It even says one in a tongue that sounded like something just absolutely putrid. You actually lose 1 hit point as soon as you hear it spoken. You have no idea what that was, but you lost 1 hit point at the sound of it.
Oh, I know what that is. That's awesome. Very few languages cause actual damage.
But eventually it settles on common, almost with a rolling of its eyes. That's on you, stranger.
Or a shrug. I'll say, well, at least you know it. I'll reiterate, friend or foe.
It slowly crawls its way up the door frame, still looking at you, so it's at a higher vantage point.
I don't give a shit.
I respond the same. It's on you, stranger. Are you my friend or my foe?
That would depend on what you're looking for in this tower.
It is my home. I am cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Yet, from all the way over there, I did hear you say something along the line of, where is it? Where is it? So I was just curious, you know?
Yes, curious. You know what did to the curious creatures, yes? Curiosity killed the Void Cat.
Uh-huh.
Necromancy brought it back.
Necromancy brings a lot of things back, you know?
Never the same.
That is true. Just like briefly glance back to the back of the column, but I look back and say, now, well,
When you
would
glance
someone
back briefly, by the way, its eyes briefly follow your movement.
Mhm.
As if looking down the way as well.
Right. Now,
Blood waves. Hello.
now, what would something or someone such as you take residence in the place that is, whatever there was, holy in nature? After all, I would think the residual energy would drive you away.
You think me unholy?
No, just saying that our power tends to have that effect most of the time.
The sun is weak here. Isn't it?
Rather ironic, considering this is a temple dedicated to the sun god.
Indeed. No longer. It's dark. More like a temple to something else now, isn't it? You notice it's been scanning you non-stop with its very piercing blood-red eyes.
Well,
While talking with you.
Sizing it up, but I'll say, well, you seem to know more than me, so enlighten me, please.
As you say that, it grins at you, and you see very spindly, bony teeth beneath its grin. That'll cost you.
As much as it would cost you if you didn't answer me.
Its smile turns more into a frown. Are you threatening me?
Or you?
I love how trolly Gildas can be.
It's Rinaldian
You
for
are
you.
on my front doorstep. I am simply informing you of the transaction that would occur. Better than most Fae.
Mm.
Wayne.
Wait, he Fae?
Oh, damn. Uh-oh. Well, that's actually really helpful that we know that now.
What, he's
Uh,
Fae, actually? Did I hear that correctly?
He said
Yes.
Fae.
Okay.
well, you
Can
know,
Valesa...
I'll show him my walnut.
Okay. I was just gonna ask Valese, like, who... What now?
So I'll start with the walnut reaction first, and then I'll move over to Valese.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
So, very specifically, as you show the walnut, its eyes narrow, and it simply mutters the word Kilmalis.
Eh?
You carry its offering, its gift, and you know not what it does it for.
Well, fortunately, I'm still rather new. Well, ignorant when it comes to Fae and Peer and the like. So all only had to run in with the family, and so we've been receiving their blessing ever since. Well,
Where was the family?
um, I
It's
suppose
King's
it was.
Landing.
I mean, yeah, well, I know, but I'll say King's Landing. However, considering how the Fae works, not quite sure if it was really King's Landing or some other place masquerading as it.
At the mention of King's Landing, it crawls a little further into the hole that it's been. Essentially this tower, as if to hide from some sort of light.
Hmm.
Also, as regards to Velise, when you heard Fae, and you ask, is this creature a Fae, Velise? You return from Velise, you can tell Velise is very uncomfortable around this creature. And Velise is not entirely sure. Velise thinks it might be a hag, but he's not sure.
Mm. I Uh-oh. We... Ooh. Gift. Hags like gifts. That should be something that's like a roll insight. I'll roll insight, see what it might want. It did mention payment.
It did.
That's a 13. It's not bad.
Regarding what
Yeah,
it might want, Delon,
Mm-hmm.
you're not entirely sure, but judging from Belise's uncomfortableness, as well as the way even if you feel like if you had hairs, they'd be standing on the back of your neck around this thing,
Mm-hmm.
it likely wants something that you wouldn't want to give anyways.
Oh, I have something that I can give, though. A peace offering.
With a 14 in survival,
Mm-hmm.
you know that it's not a hag, or at least not from what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like one. It kind of is acting like one, but it's not one. You're not sure what it is though.
Yeah, in terms of it being a Fae, would I know, like, I know some things about Fae deals, but
You're not sure.
okay.
Yeah, this is
Interesting.
weird. So, at least the broker, whether it's fair or not, this is something that's a simple sign up broker. Delon's gonna go into the bag of holding briefly. And he's gonna pull out a cookie. After all, he has a whole bag of cookies,
He does.
still freshly baked. He's gonna take one out, and I will gingerly approach and look over to Gildas. Gildas, might I suggest a peace offering? And he hands Gildas a cookie.
Oh, those are
If she
hard to
isn't,
try. Okay.
only one thing I know about Fae is they like gifts, especially tasty ones. Whether it's Fae, I'm not sure. It can't hurt.
Oh, the way he worded it, not exactly sure a cookie would do the trick, but just I'll take it and basically hand it over to the figure.
With lightning
Or they,
speed, it takes the cookie from you, and you see as the cookie rots in its hand into dust. Delicious.
raise an eyebrow at that.
Tulio also has snuck over behind you, Delon.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chief.
Mm.
Don't trust that thing.
I
Anything that
did
speaks
not.
a certain language shouldn't be trusted, Chief.
The one that made is it maybe Winston Payne?
Yeah, that one.
Understood. I agree. But keep an eye on it as I am. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop.
Tulio nods.
Basically, that's also another way for me to get close to Gildas in case this shit does real well.
Yeah, but Jim with passive perception, I hear that, so just like stealthily, put my hand behind me, like put like a thumbs up, like yeah, I got it as well. But yeah, let's see.
Do you want
Where
to
were we
know?
again? Right. Question about temple ownership and the like. Yes. Surely that information is worth a cookie.
It grins at you, and you see as it lifts its hand up. It's holding what looks like a kidney. Indeed. A kidney.
Yeah.
It's a very small kidney. Bub, your bat is dead. You can get it back tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to resummon it. That takes an hour.
Too bad.
You can see that the tree that it was standing on is crunching, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
As something seems to, the tree has come to life, so to speak. The creature in the area takes the little bat kidney and swallows it whole before grinning at you, Gildas. The creatures that call this place home follow a specific master. You notice as it's at the very top of the tower wall now. The master is old now. It's no longer a mere creature or a plant. It's something else. It has servants now. You civilized folk have lords and ladies. Minor lords and fiefdoms. What happens when nature develops the same system, I wonder?
I can't think of any reason why Bub would not try to jump in on this conversation now.
If you want to, bub, now would be the time to do it.
Now would be the time, dude.
I won't
Yeah.
stop you.
The Bub says, well, that can't be. Nature operates on its own rules. It can't develop like a civilization. Nature is cyclical. Civilization strives to be static, the same, to maintain order. Nature is, well, it has an order to it, but no, it's more like chaos. That can't happen.
And what of the ant colony? The bees in the hive. They have a queen. They have warriors. They have workers.
Yes, but this is intelligence emerging from non-intelligence. Where is the source? From what source? Is this the source of nature, or is this the source of something corrupting, changing? If it's the latter, then I'll have nothing with it.
Right. As Zabub said, after all, nature is nature. The bees may be working like that, but that's how they were made. We may be working like that, but that's how we were made. Nature wasn't made to be that. Therefore, it behaving like we do is, well, unnatural.
Exactly.
What is unnatural is a growth on the living, beating heart. Wouldn't you say?
All right, hippie, you started trying my patience.
Your druid friend surely knows of the heart of the forest, yes.
Do I roll insight?
No, he does.
Bub would know that there is something in the forest that is called the heart of the forest. He may not have ever been to it, but Bub knows that it is a sacred thing in the forest.
Well, yes, it must stay there and remain undisturbed.
What would happen, Mr. Druid, if something was disturbing it?
Well, that would change what the thing is. And that's the disruption of the balance. When you change the nature of one thing, it becomes something else.
Its eyes narrow into almost slits, and it just grins at you, Bub. Time's up. It immediately jumps into the bog and disappears into the water, splashing.
Alright, boys, time to loot the tower.
As soon as the water is disturbed, by the way, you hear creaking and cracking as the trees start moving incredibly quickly towards your direction.
Oh, God.
Well, snap.
Oh, more.
Well, let's burn the whole forest down.
Yeah, looks like that's the whole damn thing.
The trees are talking.
They aren't talking.
They are not
still.
talking.
Wow.
That's the problem. They aren't talking.
But alrighty. So, you are now in combat, as these trees are out for blood.
Uh-huh. Well, we're out for sap.
So at the top of the round, seeing as things have gone for the worse, Tulio will immediately fire his crossbow into The one near Eleanor. It takes 13 damage. I don't like these things, Chief. Noticeably, when the arrow pierces into it, it keeps trudging straight for Eleanor, as if that arrow did not cancel any momentum and it did not feel any pain. The creatures look as so.
Yeah, checks out. It's literally made out of vines. It doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, problem is I'm also stepping on vines, so I don't really trust the vines I'm stepping on now.
Yeah.
Oh, actually. So, since it's technically my turn, I have questions about the vines I'm stepping on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we got things made of vine there, so I was wondering, do the vines I'm stepping on seem to connect elsewhere?
They weave into the temple, which the vines in this tower weave all throughout the area, seemingly in starting and centralizing in the temple area. So they weave from like here, 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 and they all
layer.
kind of weave in and around this temple.
Wrong layer.
Wrong layer.
Whoops. So they weave from like here, 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 and here, and the like, all leading and weaving in and around this area. Would you believe I clicked the wrong layer before I did that? Like, literally thinking I was clicking the right layer?
Oh, we got a mostly dirt path there. What?
Yep.
Yeah. We got creature made of vine. Like, maybe, you know.
Sorry about your bad.
Well, what I'm saying is that I was gonna cast Searing Smite, right?
Mm-hmm.
But since I can't be hitting any of them, I'm assuming they're made of vine. They're probably being puppeted by something. So, I'm just gonna set fire to the vines themselves. Screw it.
Alrighty.
Make a chain reaction so that way everything's fire. But at least they won't be able to get close to that. Because
Burn
we
the
skipped
control.
that, and it might clean up the tower as well. Once it's done. So,
Yeah, since it's just covered in vine.
yeah, we did need some light as well, so fire away. So, yeah, for so boop and boop, level 1. Also, yeah, I should get advantage against the vines, but also, yeah, remember, technically a magical Warhammer, so there's a +1 to. What the hell is this shit? I mean, I can't really miss vines.
No, you can't. I just need to roll something. That's all.
To hell with the sanctity of this place. To hell with
Well,
nature.
it's already been desecrated, is what I was
Exactly.
gathering.
So, with a
Sometimes you have to
16...
burn down to bring field.
So the
Yep.
vines on the surface that are not covered in any water or are not touching anything moist, do react and start catching fire as it starts spreading incredibly quickly. You also see the vines start writhing and jumping around like snakes or something, just writhing in agony as they combust. You also see as the flames start spreading into the tower area.
Well, let's hope the thing we're looking for is not made of wood, but I doubt it. Since the whole thing was made of stone. The whole door.
Yeah, we can sift through it later.
Right.
Alrighty. So on
Hell, you're
Eleanor's
making our
turn,
bonfire.
Shay is going to look around and she's going to cast this spell on the water's surface. Shall do this real quick.
Did you make sure to that her damage is appropriate?
She rolled 2d8s and he rolled 2 1s.
I just wanted to make sure, because
Yeah.
that seemed really low.
Yeah, I know. She just rolled really badly damaged. She just rolled minimum damage, that's all. So, make a melee spell against the target. You have advantage on attack rolls if the target is wearing armor made of metal. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 and can't take reactions until the start of its next turn. So, you see as she extends her hand to the water, all these creatures seem to be in the water. And the water surface ignites and catches on fire. Something jumps
very smart,
immediately
Stefan.
out of the water. It's on fire, and it clings to a tree. Just give me one moment.
That was actually very clever because bogs are naturally acidic and they also have gaseous. Because of their acidity, have a lot of gas. Very clever.
Oh, there are
very
fireballs
smart.
in and we all explode.
No, she just caught the
yeah.
water surface on fire.
Actually, does she have third level spells yet?
She does, she just doesn't have fireball.
Okay. Yeah, she has haste instead.
Yeah.
Which is overrated, but good in certain circumstances.
It's good on melee characters.
Yeah.
Actually,
The vines in the water also catch fire. All the creatures around begin catching fire. You see as some trees that are deeply entrenched in the water immediately combust and explode. Give me a moment. As they splatter outwards in a mixture of bark, bone, sap, and what looks like blackish blood. I'm surprised that worked so effectively. I merely meant to electrocute them.
Doesn't matter, at least we know that fire works well. Everything can catch on fire, and to hell with those plant things.
Don't worry about it, your ladyship. When in Rome and all that. He does 9 damage to this one, specifically right next to Eleanor. Bub, your turn.
Okay. So.
Get revenge for your bat.
Yeah. Let's see, how far away is he? Oh, roll 20's being really sluggish today.
Saturday battery is
35? Okay. I'm thinking of just torching the boss guy. What do you guys think?
good.
Or right under him, depending on how gaseous it is.
Do what you gotta do.
Just burning, dude.
By the way, all the water is on fire. The ground you're standing on seems to be the only thing not on fire. Gildas,
Okay,
on
so
your
it's
turn,
all
you're gonna
already
have
on
to make. Oh yeah, like even the tree he's standing on is on fire at the base, at least.
Can I make it worse by producing flame?
Potentially.
I mean, that's what I'm considering doing. What do you guys think?
Also, Gildas, you're still currently standing on vines, so on your turn, I will
Go
need you to
for it.
make like a dex save.
I mean, yeah, technically I couldn't move down, but I ended my turn without moving. So
Do what you like. At this point, you're only gonna get rid of this affliction with fire and flame.
Not even.
So I'm gonna conjure
I'll be
flame.
resistant to fire next level anyway. But a train. It's a train.
So I'm gonna produce flame on this tree here, and since it's an object, its AC is 10.
Alrighty. So you're attempting to essentially combust it, yes?
Yeah. Basically,
Right.
like set it on fire, and it will be targeted, and it's only in that area. 10-foot
So,
radius.
it will take some damage.
Okay.
So, roll the damage of the spell real quick.
Okay, so that should be D8 fire damage.
If you click Produce Flame, like on the thing, little red name there, it should do it
Okay.
for you.
Alright,
That works
4
too.
damage.
Aren't you level 5, bub?
Oh yeah. Is it an
Can't.
additional D8?
Yeah. Cantrip
Okay.
dice. They level up at level 5. I was like,
I
wait a
forgot
minute, what?
about that. 7 damage.
Level 5 is when cantrips get good.
Yep.
So, it explodes as it falls off the tree, landing back in the water, and it will take 10 fire damage. Ophelia will take 5. Wait, hold on, I need to check something on her real quick. Oh. Ophelia will take 10 fire damage, even though the splash damage was lesser for her. She'll take 10, and she's stunned.
Whoops. That wasn't. I thought that was only.
Blast radius,
radi-
remember?
She's very specific.
Oh, I thought she only got stunned with radiant damage. My bad, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's meant to be both her weaknesses. I need to rewrite it really quickly. But it's basically when she takes fire
I
or
would
radiant
not
damage.
have done that if I had known that. Well, now I know that. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought it was only radiant damage because that's what your character sheet said.
I apologize. I mistyped that. It takes radiant
That's cool.
damage.
No, I'm glad we know now
or
and not in a moment
fire
that could kill her, you know.
damage. She must succeed on a con
Not
save.
not in a far more dire situation.
Right.
Oh, she's a con save. Hold on.
She misbehaved. Was like, I'll do radiant fire. Better behave.
So she is still stunned technically. So she's still
Okay.
stunned for this round.
Shoot. Well, I guess that's all she wrote. Am I still on Delon's horse?
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the DC for that? She rolled a 16.
It might have been
Yeah.
It's basically for her vulnerability. So if she gets hit by a vulnerability, it's pretty hard.
Or like an 18 or something?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Because she has so much health and she doesn't take very much damage otherwise, and she has a 20 in charisma. So
Oh, I mean, like, fair is fair. I was just curious.
yeah,
Okay,
you're good.
so that's gonna be my turn. I'm just gonna make sure I'm using the horse as cover.
Sounds good. All right, Delon, your turn.
I'm gonna look up, and you see the three there's 3 zombos on the left hand side of Yorn and Eleanor. Next to Bub, this one, and this one. I'm hitting them with my breath weapon.
All right, so you're gonna blast in this general vicinity. You're gonna try to get
Yeah.
like these ones.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Roll sizzle beef.
Alright, boss. I really don't have to, because, you know, it's more for the damage.
Right. Yeah. They just have to roll a save, I think. Right.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh my god, that is not.
That's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fine actually, because at the end of the day, but it's also now they're afflicted with sparkling prismatic aurora. It's a wake that works like fairy fire.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yep. So you need to grab this guy now. Do a dex save for him. So they all fail it, so they all take 4 radiant.
Like this whole thing has been like no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. It's just like nope.
It's okay, you're getting them out of the way for now.
I know. I'm not too worried about it.
I feel like this is a dungeon. I need to conserve resources a bit.
So they all take
It's like
4,
when-
and they are now shimmering with fairy fire. So these two, this and this, are going to take. Hold on. Three fire damage. These are the Barkstalkers, who you see as it rushes straight for Gildos. But it does so in like this fashion, essentially. Which,
Attack of opportunity.
indeed. Which Tulio will do, which he has to do with a melee weapon, but you know.
I mean, it's a silver rapier. So. There you go.
25 damage, because, you know, backstab. Attack of opportunities on rogues are broken!
Attack,
Bub.
I also get an attack opportunity.
It technically stayed within your range, but Bub does get one if he wants.
Bubbery.
I mean, how far is it from me?
It moved
Well,
into your
I guess
square
we
and then away
swing
from
a
your
claw.
square.
Okay, I'll swing a claw at it. There we go, Dragon Claw. Okay, 14.
That's a hit.
Do I get 2, or is it... How does that actually work?
You just roll 1, and then you roll the damage if it hits.
Okay.
Yeah, 9
Oh,
slashing.
wow,
and
okay, let's
11.
go.
Alright.
More combustion.
I forgot how good these Dragon Claws were.
Yeah.
Again, I rolled really good for damage, but still.
Maybe you should use them more often. I forget how good my base form is.
the claw
So
hits.
yeah, the claw hits. So you're gonna start taking 1d6 bleeding damage on your turn until you close your wound, as it reaches out with its tendrily sharp wooden claws, and where it slices you, you notice that it purposely splayed your flesh
Huh.
so that you would begin bleeding.
Well, 1d6 isn't too bad.
This one is going to hit Eleanor. The Bark Claw does not hit, but the Sporish Bite does.
Oh no.
So she will be taking 6 piercing and have to make a con save. Which she fails. Eleanor is infected.
Yeah, guys, we really need to like fix that because don't
Uh,
you'll be wood.
how do we even do that?
Good question. Good question.
This one will move over to Ophelia. This one moves over to Yorm. This one moves over towards you, Gildos. This one also moves over to you. So, 2 attacks coming at you, Gildos.
Oh boy. Miss.
Alright, they both miss you. I'm just rolling 1 attack for both of them. Simpler that way.
Alright.
This one goes for Yorm. Yorm takes 12 damage. Needs to make a con save. And he's also bleeding. Wow, Yorm fails the con save.
Yep. So we got 2 people now intoxicated.
Actually, wait, hold on. I need to look on Yorm's sheet.
Yeah, he might have a dwarf resistance.
He does. which is technically not a poison, but I will apply his Dwarven resistance to this. So he actually succeeds. But he is still bleeding. This one attempts to attack Ophelia. She will be taking 11 damage.
She has like no AC, damn.
Nah, she doesn't. Not yet. She has a lot of health, though. But she does not need to make any con saves, as whatever is attempting to afflict you dies on contact with her.
Sorry, much they like. Ah, fuck off, A.
That would be useful, actually.
Ophelia, unfortunately, is stunned.
She didn't even know she was attacked.
Tulio's turn. Tulio is going to... Let's see. Oh, right. Hold up. I need to roll... Okay. -7. -7. -7. And -7. There we go. Sorry, that was for the combustion. Alright, and Tulio is actually going to... he is specifically throwing it in a way where it basically is going to do this. Hold up. That's still 15. Hold up. So Godos, you will need to make a dex save.
Yeah.
Sorry, Godos. You're a bit close.
That's fine.
You are actually good. So you will only take 14 fire damage. Which I'll have them make a dex save now.
So, as I take the full blow of the ball, but just turn back to you and say, "Don't worry about it. Dallin showed me some moves, so I think I can work her the way."
Alrighty then. So the Barkstalker succeeded, so it takes 14 fire damage. But luckily, it is actually that's 14 more. There we go. These ones failed. They're gonna take. Alright, that one's. Never mind, they're dead. They explode, splattering bone, wood, sap, and black, inky-looking blood all over the place. Another 7. So this creature over here takes 1d8 fire damage, as it's also currently on fire, and it begins itching at itself with its talons. You see that it just shaves off like entire chunks of flesh, damaging itself a bit, as it takes 5 damage, and it is no longer on fire. Curse you! Curse you all! May this fire consume you all! Curse on your ancestors and all of your offspring! See, as it reaches into its person and retrieves what looks like a long sword. It is a mangly, crooked, blackish-looking longsword. Tulio raises an eyebrow at it, however. It then proceeds to start muttering some sort of an incantation. All of you take 3 damage as it's muttering in a language that none of you can understand, but is causing you pain.
What's the red bar?
Ophelia actually heals 3 damage from this language.
Right.
Lol.
Makes sense.
Gildos, your turn. Also make me a dex save.
Yeah, I'll do the dex save first, and then the 1d6, and then we'll start thinking about my turn. So there we go.
You get out of the way, you do not take any fire damage from the roots as they slither their way back into the water and attempt to just flee from this direction.
Yeah. That's the bleeding. So let's see.
I will tell you this right now as well, Gildos. This creature here is currently, like, if it looks like the picture when it had full health, it is barely like a bundle of twigs with a skeleton inside now.
Uh-huh. So I could probably move past him.
It would attack you, but you do feel like that it's very closely on its last leg.
Yeah, the thing is like, when I move back so I can hit the dude, because unless I can see him from there. Well, I mean, considering there's like light and like fire, light and everything.
Oh, it was dim light is now brightly lit. This whole place is literally on fire. It is brightly lit.
Alright, so I can see the dude there from over there.
Yes. You can also see that it looks like his skin is busting out into hives at the sheer sight, this much light in the area.
Right, well, let's light him up as well, shall we? Give him whatever it should have been hit by before, you know, he dove back into the damn swamp. There you go. Bam. There, fuck you.
Oh my goodness!
Yes. Yes.
Super Saiyan.
Yes, sir.
Hold on real quick, I need to check something.
Well, he done it too, he's dead. I don't
If
give a
he's
shit.
vulnerable, this is gonna hit really hard.
Gildas, how do you kill him?
Yes.
How do I kill him? Well, good question. Well, I mean, he's clearly bursting into hell because of the light and all that. And, you know, with this shit-eating green he had, or whatever, didn't quite sit well with me. So, how about I give him a mouthful of light? Literally.
Okay then. So you shoot your guiding bolt at him, and it hits him right in the mouth as he mutters his incantation. You see as his head does quite literally explode, and his body flails around with the sword in both hands before falling into the water and disappearing beneath the fiery, ichory water surface.
Right. I'll say I don't care what you speak of. But you won't be a bother anymore. And you're not about to do whatever you were trying to do. Well, only the dead people have to. Well, the trees. Although looking at this one, I'm not quite sure. Anyway. And yeah, I guess I'll just move slightly out of the way of the fire. Just like, yeah, you know,
Alrighty then.
just disengage now.
Super Saiyan Kamehameha over here.
Oh man, guiding bolt is bad because you have to roll. Well, fuck you.
No, guiding bolt's always good if it hits. Always, if it hits. If it hits, it's good. Eleanor will take 5 damage.
I missed my guiding bolt like what, twice over the course of the campaign. Like,
I'm so used to guiding bolt missing, like not even kidding. Let's see. She will proceed to. She's just gonna firebolt somebody. May as well. That's a hit. She's going to firebolt this one that is right next to you, Gildas, as it just shatters again, similar to the other ones, just exploding into timbers. Norm looks to his left, and then looks to the one right in front of Eleanor, and he will proceed to hand axe this creature again. Takes 9 damage, as his weapon is silvered. Bub, your turn.
Okay. Who's left?
There are currently, looks like 3 enemies left. This, and this.
Let's see. I'd say my fire does around the same damage as my claws. I'm just wondering if I should risk jumping down and going into melee or not. I think I'm just gonna make fire for the one that's next to Eleanor, since she's more vulnerable.
Alrighty then.
Hold up. Roll20's being really slow. Boop. Okay, is it working? No. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Come on. So I guess I'm doing the flame here because it's 10 by 10. So that way it won't hit her.
Alrighty. So, usually that would be a hit, but it's already on fire.
Oh, ends and dismiss.
You just click produce flame twice.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, I'm attacking with the flame.
Yep.
Effectively.
Since it's already on fire, I'm going to say that that hits.
Okay.
Essentially.
Got it. Okay. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
7. Alright. So it will take 14 damage. As your flame ignites, striking the air around it, as you see the flames already on it just burn hotter after it strikes the air around it. Delon, it is your turn.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna angle myself so I can hit these two with another breath weapon on the left-hand side of Yorm and Ophelia.
Alrighty, let's see.
From that angle, I should be able to, like, Schmidt's... No, actually, from where Tulio is, I should be able to shoot straight out.
Yeah,
Get
you
it.
could be able to. Yeah, you could get it that way easily.
Alright, let's just do it that way. Schmidt's your little... can't... Alright, whatever. I'm on top of Tulio, whatever.
I'll just move him to a side a little
There you
bit.
go. There you go.
I'm not that much of a rule stickler where I won't move him over just a bit.
20 radiance. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Alright, 30-foot line.
Gonna hit both of them. That's from me.
Yeah. From here, it's like 30 goes to here.
No, that's from me. Oh, I thought that the line was here.
No, that's
No.
where you are.
That's why I was trying to get close enough. I can just, like, reposition myself. I have so much movement. It's really...
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever. If this is what I have to do. Perfect.
That
30.
works. Yep, you can easily get it from right there.
Yeah.
So they will make some dex saves, which these creatures are really
DC8 plus
bad
my
at.
constitution plus my proficiency. Wow, 1 credit, okay.
Nah, it gets an 18.
Ooh,
Still
wow.
18.
They both
Still
take half.
20 damage though.
Yeah, they still are going to take
But-
20 though, because Radiant.
Oh yeah.
Creatures have
20 and
weaknesses
another,
and benefits from 2 different subgroups.
and they're also afflicted with fairy fire.
Indeed, they are.
So not only are they on fire, they're on even more on fire. Different kind of fire. Yeah.
Creature is on fire, takes 5 damage. It will move over, and it will attempt to stab Yorm.
I'm
Sporish
surprised I
Bite,
didn't kill it outright.
Barkish Claw.
Mm.
It misses both attacks. And these will... So this one will... seeing that Ophelia had an adverse reaction to Ophelia, it moves down to Yorm, and 2 of them are going to attempt to attack Yorm. Those are both hits. Yorm's going to take 34 damage as he's being attacked twice. He got hit twice. Yorm will also make a con save.
Oof.
Yorm is
not having a good
sickened.
time. So curious.
Ophelia can move again. Ophelia will move over to these creatures.
You don't have enough antitoxins. I mean, unless does one of us have greater restoration?
Not until next level.
Yeah, so we're basically boned now.
You got a potion maker.
Oh,
Yeah, who's infected.
Look, it takes like a week.
Yeah, and I have lesser restoration, so it might take more than a week.
Yeah. Ophelia is going to... Let's see... She's going to wield her Reaper of Souls on a creature. It's a hit. So it will take... Hold on. Yep, it's going to take the full damage from that. It takes 14 necrotic damage. Tulio's turn. Tulio is going to... he would rush in for more, but he's just going to use his crossbow. It's a hit, because rogue. And he's going to kill the one that Ophelia just hit. Gildos.
Uh-huh.
Just these 2.
Oh yeah, hold on first. Gonna do that. Take 3.
Yep. Bleeding.
Yeah. Remind me, the encounter ends. I'm taking a potion of healing. Because I assume it closes the bleed as well, so there's that. So I'm gonna move over there. And let's make it real good. Where is it? Bam. So that's a 24 plus a 10. Wow.
Yep, that's 10 damage, I believe. Yep.
Yep.
It takes 10. You actually knock its arm off, and it's just kind of hangling on by a few spindly wooden threads. Eleanor's turn. She takes 2 damage. Eleanor will proceed to retrieve her scimitar and stab one creature. That's a hit. As the one next to her takes 6 damage. Yorm.
They're just not dying.
Takes 5 damage. Yorm, a bit woozy in the head, shakes his head a bit and raises his hand axe up. He shakes his head and he actually takes his dwarven hand cannon out. I'm sick of this! Get the fuck out of me way! And even with disadvantage, it's a hit. So... Yep, this one is dead. He attacked the one that's been giving Eleanor such a hard time. As you just see it just shatter, and all of you kind of have, like, ow! That's loud as hell! As, this one will actually take some damage from being so close. As you see its arms grab up to its head and it doubles over a little. From the shockwave.
D6 damage from here. He is bleeding.
You do not. Y'all been palling around with him for a little bit. You know his weapon's loud. Bub, your turn. There was one left.
Okay.
You're still on the back of Elisei.
Yeah, so I don't have extra attack, so it's actually better for me to just produce flame as an attack. I
Alright.
keep rolling 8s.
That is a hit because it's already on fire.
Where's your sling, Bob? Not a true druid without a sling.
I have one, but this does more damage, so... Oh, there we go.
Bub, how do you kill it?
Alright, so, you know, it's already on fire and Yorn's, like, dying. So Bub, like, creates this big cylindrical cone of fire that shoots up from its feet and, like, stops at where its head is, and it just literally cooks it into ash.
Very nice. So with that, you have killed the enemies in the area. Yorm will proceed to make a... Hold on. Where's his shield?
Everything's on fire.
Is he making death saving throws? We gotta hear him.
No, Yorm's gonna make a... he's gonna make, very specifically, a survival check. Okay, Yorm succeeds. Yorm actually dips his axe into the fire and then cauterizes his own wound. Son of a bitch! Oh! 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 He's no longer bleeding.
Oh, cool. That's insane. What a mad lad.
Yeah,
Eleanor's gonna
no.
make a medicine roll for herself. She succeeds. She's no longer bleeding.
I can probably do that first before the potion as well, so... Yeah. Oh, wait. It's a 17, but...
Yeah, you should be throwing all 17s, my dude.
Gildos, that is a success. You are no longer bleeding.
You know, it's a sweet 17. Yeah.
I love when that would attack the lawn.
Right.
Tulio actually, once combat is over, you see as he rushes, douses himself in water and jumps into the flaming, oily bog.
I knew it. I knew it. Tulio raises an eyebrow at something he wants.
Is Tulio's currently beneath the water if somebody else wants to do something, because combat is over, but so you could move freely. But remember, it's all on fire.
Delon's gonna move up to Eleanor and Yorm. Oh, are you both alright?
Never better, Delon. Oh, those buggers hurt. I think I'm okay. That hurt a lot, though.
Hmm. Were you... I saw they were clawing and biting. Did they get you anywhere?
Of course, Yorm and I were clawed and bitten, but I feel fine. I told you I'm never better.
I'm gonna roll, Delon's gonna roll, medicine, because he might have a chance. Like, giving him actual more thorough look.
Alrighty.
Just because, I mean, he would, just because he would. Damn. It's a fucking 6.
If somebody wants to help DeLon, he could get an at 20 instead.
I can.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason not to.
Yes, Bub, especially Bub.
Yeah, I'll cast
That'd be
guidance
good.
and you can assist him. There we go.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So I guess roll additionally. Alright. 8, but it gets 20 instead.
Yep, that is a 24 with an at 20. So with a 24 on a nat 20 DeLon, you can tell that there are little pieces of wooden little splinters in their wounds where they were bitten. The wounds that were cut have been patched up. Eleanor used some gauze on her person and splashed a few drops of healing potion on her wound to close it so she's not bleeding. You can tell that Yorm cauterized his wound effectively. Clearly that's not something that he has done in a long time, but you feel like he might have done it before with the net 20 there. But both of them have very shallow but piercing bite marks with a few piece splinters in their skin, which when you brush them easily just fall off. But they look like they had barbs at the end that are no longer there.
Bub. He's like, Delon's gonna take one of the, as he brushes some of it off of Eleanor's wound, he's gonna look at one of the hunters. What do you make of this? They said it inflicted, but the wound isn't as deep. What say you? Your expertise.
Alright, let me have a look at it. If I can get some assistance.
I mean, I'll be more than happy to help.
Alright, gonna roll survival. Why make it?
I'll roll survival along with you just so you have someone to help.
D4. When I ask for assistance, it means I need some guidance. Okay, 19?
Okay, yeah.
Alrighty, Bub. With a 19, you can tell that there are a few creatures that work similarly to this. You know that in the wild there are some creatures that actually don't wish to cause you harm. They wish to use you, in a way. Thus the shallow biting.
Right.
They must have put something in the bite itself that is far less invasive than a poison, or a toxin, or a venom.
Alright, so I'm going to explain that. It's strange. It's like he said, it was like it was added on. I don't know how he did it.
So you're saying, I wasn't just imagining it. There was a part of this, but it's no more. You're saying, could something have been put in instead of trying to cut? If that's possibly the case, correct me if I'm wrong, but is there a possibility they were poisoned?
Is it?
You're the expert, dude.
With your
I don't know.
combined rolls, it is very similar to a poison, but it did not enter the bloodstream. Whatever it is would likely be in the flesh now.
I don't think it's a poison. It could be. Wait, would I know enough to say it's a parasite? That's the only thing I
With
can
your
think of.
combined rolls, you know that it's likely some form of a parasite now.
Yeah, it could be some sort of parasite, I think.
As you say this, by the way, Tulio will actually leave the water, crawling up onto the bank. He is currently shirtless. He's still wearing his chainmail, his mithril elven chainmail, but he's shirtless. His hood is also off of him, but he's wrapped them around the sword, and he is covered in burns. He took 10 damage while down there.
Good God. Well, I hope it was worth it.
Honestly, Chief, I'll explain another time, but I think it might have been.
In any case, Bob, if what you're saying is true, and we need to, it's possible they've been afflicted with a parasite. We need to be more careful. What would you suggest the next steps?
Oh yeah, by the
Good
way,
question.
before Bub says that, something I forgot to describe was that when Tulio dived into the water, it was with perfect form.
Very good. Another tally. Another 100 gold. He's an excellent swimmer. Could have been a sailor.
As all of this is on fire, Ophelia will actually stay as far away from the flames as she can. She constantly takes a step away from them when they get closer to her. Shall we investigate the temple before we head out of here? I would much prefer to discuss such things outside of the flames.
You're right. Agreed. We should do so.
Marshall was about to ask something about the flame. Well, it all seems like half of it is technically my doing. Like it's magical in nature. Quite essentially religion in a way, so to speak.
You could attempt to. You're not sure if it would work, but you could attempt to. How much of this flame now is magical and religious in nature, and how much is natural now, you're not fully sure.
I mean,
you could attempt to.
I know at least the tower is my doing. Yeah. That's 12.
Alrighty. So roll again, by the way, for advantage on this.
Alright. That's much better.
So with a nat 20 of a 25, Gildos, okay, 27 nat 20. Guidance, Bob says. And I helped.
Exactly.
So with a 27 of a nat 20, you are able to, by calling on the aid of Bridget, you see as the flames slowly die out, as you feel water falling from the tree line above you, almost like it's raining. It doesn't put all of the flames out in the entire area. Many of the trees are still burning. They seem like they'll be burning until they're completely gone, like these trees. And the water's surface flames have died down immensely, but they're still mildly on fire.
Oh, this should do it. And then I'll look to Ophelia and say, "Why aren't you beaten as well?" Incidentally.
I am fine. I took a decent hit, but I am actually quite alright. I could feel as something died on contact with me. I know not what it was, but something recoiled in agony and died. She actually raises her arm up, showing that, like, her skin is... It has punctures, but there is something black that falls out of her arm.
Well, that just added to our theory. Something was injected.
Well, considering that something black fell down, suggest we scoop it so we can actually study it. So I'll do so.
Alrighty.
Actually, say, well, we may have an infection on our hand, but now's hardly the time to conjecture anything. Yeah, well, we're on a time crunch anyway. More reason to hurry up. After all, it is the same kind of thing that befell the other people in the temple. I hope it's not. We have probably a few days at best.
The antitoxins aided in it, yes? I can attempt to make some. We're in the forest, after all. If I can get the ingredients, I could make some for us.
I mean, this certainly helped. That's for sure, but that was only because of what the spore did to us. We don't exactly know if that's the same thing. This is why, well, you know a thing or two, so perhaps using that you may be able to find a cure, or at least something will stop the spread. Oh, Stitch. It was like I read the words like itching. I was like, oh, that's not good.
No. So Ophelia basically is healing everybody by 5.
Uh-huh. It's an 18.
And she's taking time, essentially, while everyone's talking to approach and apply her necromantic healing magic to everyone, one by one. Purposely not disturbing the flow of the conversation as she does so. If that would have healed you to full, that is also fine. But alright, Gildos, as you make your way towards the tower, you find that there are no more tendrils inside. They have retreated. They did not burn away, they left. But you can find that this area is not only left in a state of disarray, but it is also clearly no longer a place of worship of any kind. Any sort of symbolism or symbolic nature of anything here, any literal symbols of Bahamut that were once here, have been scrubbed away. Some have actually been clawed away, bit by bit.
We know the culprit. So,
But as you're looking around for whatever might be the key in the area, due to your 20 in passive perception, it's rather easy for you to find something odd in the room. Very specifically, right here, there is some fallen debris, and you can see that there is a circle of salt around it. There is also writings on the ground that you can't read in front of the salt. They are scratched into the earth.
well, even if I can't read that, I think I know what might be written there. But actually, you mentioned something about a language, so I'll call him out. from all the way over there.
Calling for Trulio?
Yeah.
Trulio makes his way over. He wipes his brow. He's still actually clutching the still wrapped sword in one hand, but he wipes his brow with his forearm. Yeah, what's up?
Chilio, seems like you knew what the creature was speaking rather. So, I'll point to the ground. I'm sure you can read that.
It's an unfinished incantation. See, that salt is blessed. Whatever would want to get to it can't get to it while the salt's there. It can't touch it to disturb it. It can't bring itself overly near it either. Can't disturb it with a stick. Nothing it can do would affect it. It's blessed true and properly by a paladin. So it's scrawling the ground itself to attempt to sap away whatever holy reverence was in that salt and drain it into the earth.
So, what I want to know is what kind of language is that?
Tulio actually looks left and looks right, and then tightens the cloth around the sword, like almost with a string. He actually tightens it really tight, as if one would like tightening a gag on someone. I suppose the time has finally come to mention that I can speak a certain language.
Every eyebrow that.
He actually says one word, which causes you to take 1 damage. Then grins, and says in common, Abyssal. The language of hell.
Uh-huh. So, I imagine because of your previous line of work. Something along those lines.
That is right, Chief. That is right.
Alright, Chief, but whatever.
Tulio's exhausted. Can't blame him a little bit.
Yeah, I think we all are at this point.
Even for a joke, I don't think I should have said a word in it, though. But I've been known to make bad decisions. He says that while tightening the string on the sword again.
Well, you would like me to take a look at the sword later.
I don't think you really want to take a look at it. Trust me.
Well, you take a look and you describe it to me then.
Oh, I could describe it to you right now. Black as night, blood red etchings, radiating the foulest temperament and some evil magic right off the blade. The sword curved like a serpent's body, almost like a kriss.
Uh-huh. So clearly, evil cursed item. Just decide to take a dive into some acidic bog just to retrieve it.
Absolutely.
For your own amusement, miss you.
I have my reasons. Something like this is not actually better left unfound. Something like this is better knowing where it is.
Fair enough. Well then you better keep a good eye on it.
Oh, I intend to. I also intend to make sure it doesn't hear a damn thing.
Oh, so it's living as well. Good to know.
Maybe. Maybe not. I'm just not taking any chances. That's why I'm intent on smothering it.
Oh, just put it in your safe.
Put it in the chest with my other actually good items? No siree. This one's staying as far away from my valuable items as I want.
Well, I know how you work, so I won't ask. Still, it's like I found what we were looking for. So,
Often. Reconnection successful. I'll wait for it to connect on YouTube properly. There we go. I don't know where we were disconnected for a moment, but we are back. So when you remove the salt and you lift the debris, you find that there is not an item, but more like a red orb. It looks like a red, fiery red pearl. If you've seen Pokemon the Movie 2000, it kind of looks like the Moltres orb.
uh-huh. I'll just lift it if I can. Stash it somewhere on my person.
Oh, you can definitely lift it. It is, though, hot to the touch.
That's fine. I mean, I do have a blanket I can put over it, but do I want a burning blanket on myself?
It's not that hot, don't worry. It is just very hot to the touch, though.
Yeah, just like put it on my belt and then
Alrighty.
smash some plum people later with it.
And with that, the party collects themselves and begins heading back to the central chamber, I imagine. Allow me to move y'all back to the central chamber.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
Once back in the central chamber, Yorm just plops himself on the ground. Ugh. I do not like it when trees decide to act like boogeymen. Eleanor wipes her brow as well. It was hotter in there than I would care to admit. You notice as Tulio does actually take a few steps away from the party, but he's still gripping the sword tight.
Montoya, why are you holding on to that sword so tightly?
Because some items have a dirty little habit of disappearing. It's rather convenient that the sword was held alight. As the head exploded, the hands still clutched it tight and I had to cut them off of it. And it wanted to fall into the bog.
And this weapon you have, what is your intent with it?
To find a place to put it so it will never, ever listen in on someone's conversation again. I know a dirty little eavesdropper when I see one.
So it is a wicked blade, no doubt.
Precisely. I intend to store it away somewhere with hopefully a trustworthy affiliate who can make sure that it is observed for all time immemorial. Because the moment you take your eyes off this sort of item, they have a habit of disappearing. And the reason I'm a few feet away from you all is because I have smothered it, and I do not wish for it to hear what you have to say. Just what I have to say.
Would it not be easy to destroy it?
You'd think that, Chief, but I'm pretty sure that it's a pretty high-grade item, and destroying it would be a headache in and of itself.
Let me see. Unfortunately, I'm no holy man, or else I would be able to do something about it.
Don't worry about it, Chief.
Well, and Bayev.
Oh, we have lost Bub, it looks like. But as you're all kind of taking a breather afterwards, Tulio will also nod to the rest of the party. Another reason I didn't like it is that only a very subsect of people can speak that sort of a language without causing harm to themselves. That's not a language that should be spoken. And you know this language, Tulio? Something like that. Eleanor narrows her eyes and stands up straight. Explain. Well, you know I was a member of a certain group of individuals, yeah? I won't say which ones. You see his eyes briefly flick down to the sword. But I was a member all the same. And so I picked up a few things, and some things were standard fare. Some things are instructed upon you once you get past the hazing process. And this language is one of them? Precisely. The language in common tongue is known as Abyssal. Abyssal? I have never heard of a language like that before. Are you positive that is a language, Tulio? Absolutely. You wouldn't know it in the Kingdom of Canes, the region of the gods, goddesses, and the sun, because it's not the language from here. It's from some other place. It's a language of hell. He says this with like the biggest grin.
Roll history.
20.
Okay, 20. Alright.
So even with a 20, Delon, you're not overly sure of a language known as Abyssal. You know that it's a you know that there has been a term of the Abyss before. You know that like it's always mentioned in a negative light, and that only cultists would dabble in the Abyss.
So, and what it is true, the organization you may or may not have been a part of may or may not have dabbled in cult-like aspects.
Precisely.
And they may or may not have instructed you on a certain language that would make you comfortable outside of the land in which you reside.
Well, I don't know if I'd ever truly be comfortable if I went somewhere. There are some places where it make even my skin crawl. But there are some forms of conditioning that can be done that cause your soul to suffer some amount of damage. You pay a small price, and you no longer suffer a penalty.
And this perforation has occurred with you as well?
Can't say. He just says with a half-hearted shrug.
I see.
Montuli, I knew you were a blasphemer, but are you to tell me you are more than that too? Nah, not anymore. You know what they say about righteous souls being saved, right? And you're to tell me your soul is a righteous one? Oh, you don't think it is?
At least he's trying. Somewhat. Sometimes.
I'll figure it out along the way somewhere.
I love those edits. I really do love those edits of somewhat, sometimes. Some days.
I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. This is making neither heads nor tails with me. But regardless of whatever the hell he's been up to, he's stuck with us. He stuck his neck out for us. He shot them. He's bled with them. He's killed a lot of things. And he's stuck with us throughout it. I don't give a damn.
Me neither.
He's more than worked off the debt of the food that he stole from my forest.
Besides, even if we does keep an eye on the sword, now that we do know that it is there, that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 additional pair of eyes we can have on it. Just in case.
Precisely.
Regardless of which, what's our next move? I believe we want to discuss this affliction Norm and Eleanor may have contracted.
I'm fine, Delon. I just need a bit of rest, that's all. I'll be back in ship-top shape. You know, dwarven endurance. Well, I admire your spirit, Yorm. I believe we might need some sort of antitoxin.
Delon's gonna glance to Ophelia. Ophelia, could you show me your arm once again? I promise I'll be careful not to touch.
Of course. She does immediately extend her arm.
I'm gonna roll a medicine again just to get like there was like black ooze leaking out of it. Is there something that might have been left behind, so to speak?
Whatever was in her arm, let's see. Yes, with the 19. So with whatever was in her arm, it has now fallen out, but the party retrieved what was in her arm. They looked like tiny little needles, but they have turned black. And you can see that on the ends of the needles, they look like fingers. Like small little fingers, but they have died.
Delon is going to take this and bring this over to Eleanor. He then politely nods his head to Ophelia before he does so. Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome, Sir
Lady
Knight.
Eleanor. What makes you... Listen, you're the toxin expert. Antidote. What say you this?
Eleanor will make a roll.
I was curious why something missing. This is what was originally there.
She has advantage on potion making checks. She gets a nat 20.
She is the best in her field.
Looking at this, she actually takes something out of a satchel bag, and you can tell that it's like a small lens. She hovers over the barbs, looking at them very closely. I see. So through a bite, it injects these barbs into you. Not into your bloodstream, but into your flesh itself. And then the barbs proceed to spread outwards, spreading and mingling with the flesh. I could perhaps make some sort of a potion had I had the ingredient, but I would need something likely from the source of this very infection. Perhaps the originator of this parasitic problem. If we were to encounter it, I could harvest something from it to create some sort of cure, perhaps. I think a magical, perhaps greater restoration would completely cleanse one as well. I imagine that they sever the flesh to weaken your resolve, so that you will fall and they may inject you with very little difficulty. They want you alive. Oh, is that why once they had attacked us, they kind of moved on with their lives? Perhaps that is why they also ran from me so. Upon learning that they could not inflict me, they simply rushed to the next one that they could inflict.
Why they all ganged up on me, seeing how they couldn't bite me. But that isn't me, considering everything we know. I think the originator might just be behind that door.
then the quickest course of action for an immediate cure would be to obtain the other key and make our way there so that we may cleanse it, so to speak.
And with post haste,
Oh,
not
something
dilly
of note
dally.
as well, before we head forwards. If I am to retrieve what I need from the originator, we shan't catch it on fire like we have the rest. I need something to work with.
Tis prove difficult, but if we can do so, I will do my best to make sure I don't.
Well,
But, Go ahead.
I can at least control the fire somewhat if we can identify which part we need. But I will be able to at least spare it. Although, we don't even know what it is, so. Knowing even when it's alive is gonna be hard. Difficult.
Yes.
Let us not delay. We have the other
Right.
tower to go to.
Yorm nods. Buddy remains seated. He actually cracks open his cigar. He just takes a cigar out of essentially a cigar case and lights it. Give me a few, Delon, and I'll be back in tip-top shape. Need to catch my breath.
Understood.
I'll do
Rest
something
well, my friend.
real quick as well. What's up?
Would you roll? Oof.
Yeah. 4 healing. All 4.
I'm gonna have Yorm roll. Let's see what's his healing. That's okay, yeah. So he's gonna roll 3d10 plus 4. Whoops. Roll 3d10. Alright. So Yorm heals 21 at least. Let's see. Rogue gets a d8 plus con.
Well, I guess we'll take it a short rest then.
Essentially, I'm assuming as much. Yorm's gonna take one for sure.
Yeah, well. Once you just said, yeah, well, I use like 3 hit dice. So we're like kosher. Like with the previous short rest, I have 2 left. 1, 2, 14. That's good enough.
Tulio is at full health. Eleanor is currently at full health, so she's good. Let's see. Nice, that's a 10 health. Cool. Let's see. And I think Eleanor has a few on her person. Hold on. Thought she did. Maybe she added them to the cart.
She forgot them in Asturian.
Ah, yes, she had made 3 healing potions that are currently in the cart. Yorm will actually drink one of them.
I tend to have a healing potion that she gave me that I never used.
True.
Yeah, I'll give her one. I'll approach with a healing potion. I recall you gave me this after my duel in Nebulum.
Indeed.
Take it.
Eleanor shakes her head. She actually shakes her head and curls your hand around the potion. No. You will be in the front. You will be needing it more.
As you wish. I won't say no to a lady.
She actually gives you a smile and just nods. Yorm actually takes his sweet time smoking the cigar, by the way.
You should. You take all the time, baby.
But what were you going to say DeLon did?
I was going to approach Gildas. What say you, Gildas? This has become more... This affliction has been more decrepit and deep-seated than I initially thought. Fire seems to be its antithesis, but this whole area seems afflicted by it. Wherever the vines are, you find its affliction.
I'm curious about the vines as well.
So of note as well, speaking of the vines, there are no vines in the southern section. They are all gone.
Are there any in the north?
There are vines in the north. The vines in the east are thicker, though.
We might as well just like light them on fire already. It's like, alright, just like the vines. Just get a head start.
Right, but continue on my train of thought. I'll say, when I lit the vines on fire, the rest retreated.
Scurried away like snakes. We saw it with our own eyes. I've never seen anything like that.
So, what I really want to know is just how big is the thing we have to deal with? I mean, if the vines are part of it in some way, I think even lighting or fire might not even do anything. But what worries me is not the vines, not the plant people, the disease. I mean, it's not even something I think I can do anything about. I mean, if even the paladin could just fall ill like that and die, I don't even know if we died because of that.
Let's also be careful, though. He was alone. And it was remarkable he stayed as strong as he was for a month or more. You are not alone, Sir Gildas. You are surrounded by allies and friends. That alone gives you the opportunity for success. Don't be so hasty to feel as if you are alone in this predicament. We are also...
I know, but... Look. How shall I put it? I'm putting you all in danger. Mortal danger. More than the usual, really. I mean, just look at your Melino, just got bitten, and we don't even have a cure. My mind's still thinking all kind of stuff at the moment. So, forgive me if I can't even string a sentence right, or even organize my thoughts. All I want to do right now is get it over with, so that the less time we spend there, the less time you will be in danger. And I need you. Otherwise, well, if you all weren't there, my lady wouldn't have given me the quest to begin with. So, I want to see it through with everyone, and preferably everyone living here alive, or unalive as well.
Here. I agree wholeheartedly. Do you remember when we were in King's Landing? Commander Wolford said that I had an opportunity. Well, I spoke that I had an opportunity to become a Templar, and yet I chose a different path.
I do remember, yes.
I never rightly told you. I told you as best I could that it didn't feel right. And while that's partly true, the truth of the matter is I'd spent my whole life trying to pursue something, and I wanted it so badly that when it finally came time to enact it, to become a Templar, just like my great-grandfather, just like the start of our line, that it just it didn't hit the way I thought it would. It wasn't. I didn't hear a calling. I didn't hear what should have been held. It could have been doubts, it could have been other things, but I made a crucial decision after hours of thinking about it. That this was not the trial that I wanted. That there had to be something else. Something more meaning for me. Being a Templar is a noble pursuit, but I'd been so focused that perhaps being a Templar was perhaps not what I'm supposed to be. But I think the old lady Bridget gave you this opportunity. She gave it to you, and you've sought it through all the way to this. This is your trial. And I know you'll succeed in it because you've come this far already. Can't stop now. As you said, 2 of our companions are afflicted. We only will cure them by moving forward. And I believe in you. Because I see a man of conviction. I see a man of opportunity. You are willing to go for it, to prove yourself. You display gallantry and integrity. And from time to time. But when you do, you shine. This is your defining moment, my friend. And I will be with you to see it to its end. And should we survive this, as I'm sure we will, I will be eager to see where your next trials will be. And what kind of a man you will become after you've seen them through.
Did I ever tell you you nobles really do have a way with words? Thank you, darling.
You might have mentioned it from time to time. And we have our uses. Even fewer from time to time. But you are welcome.
Hold on, cramp.
Yes. Oh no.
Godas, drink your water.
I just did.
Drink more water. You're dehydrated, Godas.
Okay, it's fine. Fair. Also, it was a big deal of what? It's like, oh, yeah, nope. Yeah. Long day at work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold on. Bit. But yeah. I'll just like you clasp your shoulders and say, well, just as you will be there for my trial, I'll be there for you when you need it. Really. I mean, we both have ladies expecting great things from us, don't we?
As all great men do.
Indeed. Although, I'm still looking for the one, I suppose. Well, the other one.
As am I. And I'm sure you'll find it. When you do, I'll be more than happy to encourage you. I don't think I ever noticed how philanthropical you've become lately.
Come on, it was only 2 times, and it was only to relieve some tension I had. Just nothing
Sure.
more to it.
Sure, I'm sure.
Well, of course, it might be because of my grandfather as well, but let's just say I have a colorful ancestry. We tend to keep tabs on each other. So, of course, some of it just sipped through me, and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. We'll say there's that.
No doubt.
But let's see. We do have a moon that's about to rise, if I'm not wrong. And
No,
hopefully,
I don't believe that.
the night will be to our advantage, as well, usually plants are more lively during the day, aren't they?
Aye. Perhaps the divines will be with us even more so. After all, we freed one of their bastions.
However,
I'll leave you to your rest.
although down,
Hmm.
before we leave this place, remind me to build a small memorial for all the people that were here. You know.
So, Gildas, 'twould be an honor to leave a memorial for those that have lost their way, and let their memories be engraved upon this place with noble intentions. Could not have suggested something better than myself.
Thank you. Well, let's work on it together then. Although, as if we make it out, I'm sure we will, but something to look forward to.
Aye, I'll make the first brick.
So as the party is finishing their relaxation, Yorm slowly stands up, taking the last drag of basically now the butt end of a cigar, flicks it towards the northern area, and pulls out some more smoke. He has his big old boomstick on his shoulder and nods. I'd reckon based off those tentacle blagged things, that creature's gotta be right massive. And once we're on a footing where I can do it, he actually aims his rifle down the way in the western direction, and then mimes taking a shot. I'm gonna load one big musket ball right down its gullet. No one kills Yorm with a stupid Peasley pathetic ass poison. You wanna kill Yorm the right way, with a bullet through the head or something. Eleanor just kind of looks up, slowly stands, and just stares for a long moment before shaking her head. Yes. I will give it a magical what for. Tulio makes his way towards the northern area. Well, in that case, what's the holdup? We have another MacGuffin item to get, don't we? Some little magical talisman looking thing?
I wasn't sure you knew about that term in literature.
I'm more well read than you think.
I never assumed otherwise. How dare you?
You gotta mulligan some rolls. Sometimes you gotta give somebody an IOU at the dice table. Ophelia just kind of looks over at the rest of the party and nods forwards. Let us make haste then. With that, the party heads towards the northern area, leaving the
Do you wanna
central
see the
chamber
battle?
for the northern path. And as they walk into the northern path,
Ooh.
we're going to stop here for now.
Oh.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a good one. Next time in King's Chronicle, the party heads for the northern path, dealing with the stone circles to figure out how to get the next item. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.